The film opens with a father completely engrossed in a boxing match with his son, a stubborn kid named Travis Austin. He was the kind of boy who never gave up, especially when someone he loved was hurt. Travis also had a younger sister named Kelly.
I think I'm gonna tell Mom.
What are you looking at? Your ugly face. Travis!
Get off my brother!
You okay?
But their family was far from a harmonious one. The father was a gambling addict and was always losing bets, which only made their lives even more chaotic and miserable. Eventually, a bitter decision was made. Their father, as cruel as they come, left Travis at an orphanage with nothing but a small memento. He was so mad that he wanted to hit his father, and to his surprise, his father let him. After getting punched, his father left immediately. That day was the most painful point for little Travis. He could only cry loudly while running, unable to accept the fact that his own family had left him abandoned. Time passed and Travis grew up, carving a career for himself in the boxing ring. He was set to compete for the light heavyweight world title. Before getting into the ring, he got a shot of motivation from his trainer and adopted brother Eddie. His girlfriend Dana also gave him an encouraging kiss, which made him as confident as ever. His opponent that night was none other than the tough boxer, Willie Roman. The fight then began. From the first to the third round, Travis got a real beating from Roman, but Eddie's motivation managed to rekindle his spirits in the fourth round. Even though he fell because of a hard blow, Travis remembered his father's cold words from the day he was left in the orphanage. With his remaining strength and the surging new determination to win, he got up and unleashed a furious series of attacks on Roman, finally emerging victorious. Travis's great victory was celebrated with a lavish feast at his home. All the guests were in awe of his achievements, and even Eddie's daughter Ashley was amazed by his championship belt. The party was also attended by Travis's old friend Joe, who had just gotten out of prison and was now a professional boxer. Joe seemed to praise Travis with admiration, though his words felt a little too sweet. Besides Joe, Travis's childhood friend from the orphanage, Dennis, was also there that night. When it got late, Eddie planned on taking Ashley home, but she refused and asked to stay at Travis's house instead. Travis was all for the idea, so Eddie reluctantly allowed it. Not long after, Joe introduced Travis to Rico, an underground boxing promoter. Rico was incredibly grateful that Travis's previous win had earned him a huge profit from betting. As a gift, he gave Travis a luxury watch and promised to help him out whenever he needed it. But the next day, a tragedy occurred. Dana found Ashley dead from a suspected drug overdose. Everyone panicked, especially Eddie, who was completely devastated to see his daughter lying there lifeless. The sadness was even more palpable at the funeral. Afterward, Eddie took out his anger on Travis. He was convinced that Travis was responsible for Ashley's death and vowed to take the case to court. A few days later, Travis's lawyer told him he could easily win the case, since Travis clearly wasn't the one responsible, but the feeling of guilt kept haunting him. With a heart full of regret, Travis chose to plead guilty, willing to be imprisoned for 2 years even though he was innocent. The lawyer told him that he could fight for him, urging him not to do this. But Travis simply told him he knew what he was doing and ignored the plea. While in prison, Travis was often bullied by the other inmates because he refused to fight or hone his skills with the prison guards. Every so often, Dana came to visit him and promised to stay faithful and wait for him to be free. One day, a bald prisoner suddenly attacked Travis because his repeated challenges to a duel had always been rejected.
What the hell are you doing? Stay out of it. And the new champ is Bobby the Booger. And the crowd goes wild.
The next day, Travis's father, who had been missing for a long time, suddenly came to visit him. They chatted, but the conversation only managed to trigger Travis's emotions, leaving him in a volatile state. Later in his cell, Travis was met by the bald prisoner again, who had attacked him yesterday and was back to beat him once more. This time, Travis couldn't control himself and ended up beating the man until he passed out. Because of this incident, Travis was given additional years in prison. With a heavy heart, he told Dana during the next visit session to forget about him, a plea that, of course, broke her heart. Long story short, 4 years later, Travis was finally released and was picked up by a faithful Dana who had been waiting for him. When they arrived at Dana's new house, Travis, who hadn't seen her in so long, was captivated by her beauty and gave her a passionate kiss. He told her he missed her, and she said she missed him too. but Dana gently refused his advances and instead invited him to eat first. Not long after, they ate dinner and talked about Joe, who was now a world boxing champion but had never once visited Travis in prison. After finishing dinner, they continued to talk and express their love for one another. The next day, Travis was seen waiting for Joe at a gym. Joe then came driving a Lamborghini and greeted him. Travis asked Joe for a job so he could return to boxing, but Joe refused to help him. What was even more surprising was that Joe had been trained by Eddie all this time and was now a fighter on Travis's old team. Hearing this, Travis was at his wits' end because Joe had taken everything from him. Not only his team and his wealth, but also Dana while he was in prison. Travis was completely enraged and wanted to beat Joe, but he had to hold himself back because there were police nearby, so he chose to walk away instead.
Everything okay, boys? Okay, well, let's keep the fight in the ring.
You got it. Too fucking sensitive. Take a vacation. You just got out.
Arriving home, Travis demanded the truth from Dana about her and Joe. It turned out that she had been forced to do it just to survive. However, a major argument broke out between them, and Dana finally snapped, telling him to get out.
Get out!
You broke my heart.
Get out!
Feeling that no one in his former luxurious life cared about him anymore, Travis decided to go to Dennis's house to ask for help and stayed there for a while. One afternoon, Travis, who was in a financial pinch, decided to ask Dennis for help. Dennis, knowing Travis's amazing skill in boxing, decided to take him to Rico, the underground boxing promoter. Without a moment's hesitation, Travis accepted the offer because he was in dire need of money. But he only fought once, because despite the brutal and dangerous fight, the payment he received was a measly $400, a figure that was completely unworthy of the great risks he had taken. Travis realized that he had to find another way to earn a more stable income. He remembered the irony of it all. He was once a rich man and had everything he could ever want. But after being accused of murder by Eddie, all his assets were taken to pay his legal fees and fines. Dennis tried to find work for Travis and took him to a professional boxing gym. The owner, a man named Frank, immediately rejected Travis because he was a former convict. However, Dennis managed to convince Frank, who finally agreed to accept Travis, but only as a janitor. The pay was terrible, but it was better than nothing. As Travis began his new job, he saw that the gym's top boxer was a man named Mikkel, who would soon be competing against Joe, Travis's old friend who had now become his enemy. Every now and then, Travis would give Mikkel a few pointers, but this would only get Frank's blood boiling because he was Mikkel's official trainer, while Travis's job was only to clean the place. Seeing this, Harry, another coach in the gym, who felt sorry for Travis, told him that he could come to the gym more often when Frank wasn't there. Harry promised to train him during those times. One day, Frank found out about Travis and Harry's secret sessions and was furious with Travis. It was then that Frank revealed his true feelings. He hated Travis because he had abandoned the world of boxing and gone to prison. He also admitted that he knew Travis was innocent all along. But fortunately, after finding out that Travis was secretly training, Frank began to reconsider his opinion. He finally decided to make Travis a sparring partner for Mikkel, especially since they would soon face off against Joe, who was previously part of Travis's team. He knew Travis might have a few pointers to help Mikkel win the match. One afternoon, Travis decided to finally make peace with himself and accept his painful past. He chose to meet with his father after a long time. With mixed feelings, Travis felt it was the right time to mend their relationship. When they met, his father tearfully greeted him and handed him an envelope. Travis was full of curiosity as he opened the envelope and found several photos. They turned out to be pictures of his younger sister, Kelly, who was now living happily with her own family and had 2 children. The envelope also contained Kelly's telephone number, probably given by their father, so Travis could reconnect with the sister he hadn't seen in ages. Not long after, at Dennis's house, while Travis and Dennis were chatting and cooking, Travis suddenly received a text message informing him that Mikkel had been hospitalized due to an incident. It was confirmed that Mikkel would no longer be able to take part in the fight against Joe, but unexpectedly, Frank offered him to replace Mikkel. At first, Frank refused, believing that Travis was not ready. However, seeing his high spirits and sheer determination, Harry, who was also there, finally decided to take the risk and agreed. That night, Travis took the initiative to have a heart-to-heart with Frank. In a calm and honest atmosphere, they spoke about their past, opening up old wounds and sharing the emotional pain and burdens they had been holding in. As the conversation progressed, Travis and Frank started to find similarities in their life experiences and began to understand each other. With this growing sense of mutual understanding, Frank was finally touched and felt that his support would mean a lot to Travis. Ultimately, Frank decided to support Travis in his fight, agreeing to join his team. Frank told him that this wasn't just about him anymore, but about a new beginning for both of them. The next morning, Harry went to see Eddie and Joe. He informed them that Travis would be replacing Mikkel in the upcoming match, which made Eddie look disappointed. He clearly didn't want Travis to return to the ring. On the other hand, Travis continued to train hard to get back to his best form as a champion.
Came from the dirt, now I'm shining like gold. Every punch I take, put a crown on my soul. Glass stone, now I'm built too bold. I'm a champ on a shamble, story unfold. Came from the dirt, now I'm shining like gold. Every punch I take, put a crown on my soul. Glass stone, now I'm built too bold. I'm a champ on a shamble, story unfold. Stepped in the ring with the weight of my sins. Turn every L to a lesson, that's how you win. Gloves up high, let the battle begin. Dreams heavy in my chest, fire burning within. Chain on my neck, but I broke those ties. Tears in my eyes, but I still will rise. Blood on my knuckles is the proof of the grind. Champion mindset can break my mind. Came from the dirt, now I'm shining like gold. Every punch I take, put a crown on my soul. Glass stone, now I'm built too bold. I'm the champ, watch the story unfold. Came from the dirt, now I'm shining like gold. Every punch I take, put a crown on my soul. Glass stone, now I'm built too bold. I'm the champ, watch the story unfold.
Sisters class has sure paid off.
One night after he and Dana had finally reconciled, they were at a cafe when Joe suddenly appeared, waiting outside. He decided to talk to Travis, and in their conversation, it was revealed that Joe was the one who had given Ashley the drug, leading to her overdose. Not only that, but Joe also confessed that he had molested Ashley that night. It turned out that everything that had happened, from Travis going to prison to losing all of his wealth, was part of Joe's evil plan. Hearing this, Travis was completely furious, but he managed to keep his emotions in check and save his anger for the fight in the ring. The next morning, Travis and Dana went to visit Ashley's grave. That evening, without Travis's knowledge, Dana secretly went to see Eddie to tell him the truth. The night before the match, Eddie came to Travis's room and said that he now knew the whole truth and regretted not believing him before. However, Eddie still had to be a professional because he had made Joe, the person who killed his own daughter, part of his team. Long story short, the match began. In the first 3 rounds, Travis, who had not competed professionally for 3 years, was completely overwhelmed by Joe's speed. He fell several times due to Joe's powerful hooks. However, during the break, Frank, who had put his faith in Travis's determination, finally managed to rekindle Travis's spirit, allowing him to go on the offensive in the 4th round. Their match went so long, stretched to the 10th round, a tense round that would determine the fate of both boxers. In this emotional moment, Eddie, who had known about all of Joe's corruption and betrayal all this time, revealed all the facts, leaving Joe mentally shaken. He was so shocked by the revelation that he lost his focus and his confidence. As the 10th round began, Travis, filled with rage over Joe's betrayal, wasted no time and immediately unleashed all his anger. With incredible power and pressure, Travis landed a powerful blow. The blow was so forceful that it sent Joe flying off the ropes. In the broadcast booth, the commentators were speechless. They had never seen anything like it. And with that, Travis was declared the winner of the match.
Champion of the world!
Regaining the world title and solidifying his position as the greatest boxer in the world. The next day, Dana and Travis decided to visit Kelly's house, Travis's younger sister, whom he hadn't seen in a long time. After being separated for so long, this was a much-awaited moment for the 2 siblings. In the midst of a touching and happy atmosphere, the longing between brother and sister was finally satisfied, and both of them felt the warmth of a long-lost family again.